The Morris worm. In November 1988, a graduate student wrote 99 lines of code, released it to measure the size of the internet, and accidentally took down 10% of it in a single day. Back then, the entire internet was about 60,000 computers. Within 24 hours, roughly 6,000 of them were infected, jammed, and grinding to a halt because the worm was supposed to copy itself quietly, but a bug made it reinfect the same machines over and over until they choked. Here's the part nobody expected. The kid who wrote it, Robert Morris, became the first person ever convicted under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. And in a plot twist the internet still finds hilarious, he's now a tenured professor at MIT. The Morris worm didn't steal anything. It didn't ask for money. It just proved, for the very first time, that a few lines of code could bring the whole network to its knees. Every virus after this one is just a remix of that lesson. I love you. On the 4th of May 2000, millions of people opened an email with the subject line, I love you, and an attachment that said, love letter for you. It was not a love letter. It was a Visual Basic script written by a college student in the Philippines, and the second you double-clicked it, it overwrote your files, stole your passwords, and then emailed itself to everyone in your Outlook address book. So your boss got a love letter from you, and so did your ex. In 10 days, it infected around 45 million computers, an estimated 10% of everything online, and caused somewhere between $10 and $15 billion in damage. The Pentagon, the CIA, and the British Parliament all shut down their email to stop it. The wildest detail? The creator walked completely free. The Philippines had no law against writing malware at the time, so the charges were dropped. I love you is the moment the world learned that the scariest thing on your computer isn't a hacker in a basement, it's your own curiosity. Code Red. In the summer of 2001, a worm started crawling the internet looking for one specific thing: web servers running Microsoft software. It didn't need you to click anything. It didn't need an email. It just knocked on every server's door, and if the door was unlocked, it walked in, no human involved. Within 14 hours, it had infected over 359,000 machines. Every site it hit got the same message slapped across it, and then it did something bold. It aimed all of its infected machines at one target, the White House website. The government had to physically change the White House's IP address to dodge the attack. Code Red mattered because it needed 0 clicks. I love you, tricked people. Code Red didn't bother, it just attacked the machines directly, while everyone was asleep. SQL Slammer. If Code Red was fast, Slammer was a gunshot. This one was tiny, 376 bytes, smaller than this sentence's worth of text, and it didn't waste time. It doubled the number of machines it infected roughly every 8.5 seconds. In under 15 minutes, it had crashed a huge chunk of the internet worldwide, hitting over 250,000 computers. Bank ATMs went dark. Seattle's 911 system dropped to pen and paper. An airline had to cancel flights. And Slammer wasn't even trying to be destructive. It carried no payload, stole nothing. It just multiplied so violently that the internet's own traffic strangled itself. Slammer is the fastest spreading worm in history, and it taught the world a terrifying lesson. A virus doesn't need to be smart to be catastrophic, it just needs to be fast. Mydoom. January 2004. And this is the one that still holds records 2 decades later. Mydoom spread through email like I love you, but faster and greedier. At its peak, 1 out of every 12 emails on the entire internet was a copy of Mydoom. It infected more than 500,000 machines in a week and turned them into a zombie army, a botnet all pointed at the same victims. The damage estimates are almost cartoonish, commonly cited at around $38 billion, which would make it the most financially destructive piece of malware ever written. And here's the eerie part, nobody has ever figured out who made it. No arrest, no confession, no name. 20 plus years later, the author is still a ghost. Mydoom proved that a virus wasn't just vandalism anymore. It was infrastructure, a weapon you could rent, aim, and fire. Conficker. In late 2008, a worm started spreading that was so well built, security researchers formed an actual cabal, a global task force just to fight it. Conficker was clever. Every time experts thought they'd blocked it, it changed how it communicated, generating up to 50,000 new web addresses a day to phone home to. It quietly infected between 9 and 15 million computers, including machines inside the French Navy, the UK Ministry of Defence, and the German Army. And then, it did almost nothing. It sat there, waiting for a command that, for the most part, never came. To this day, nobody's fully sure what it was for. That's what made Conficker so unsettling. It built one of the largest armies of hijacked computers in history and just sat on it, like a loaded gun no one ever picked up. Quick question, before we get to the scary ones, how many of these do you actually remember happening? Drop the number in the comments. I'm genuinely curious how old this channel skews. And if this is the kind of tech history you wish school actually taught, hit the like button. It really does help the channel. Because the next three didn't just crash computers, they changed what a virus is for. Stuxnet. Up to now, every virus on this list attacked data. Stuxnet attacked the physical world. Discovered in 2010, Stuxnet was unlike anything before it, a cyberweapon widely believed to be built by the United States and Israel with one specific target: Iran's nuclear program. It slipped into the Natanz enrichment facility, hunted for the exact industrial controllers running the uranium centrifuges, and then quietly told them to spin themselves to death while showing the engineers a screen that said everything was totally fine. It destroyed around 1,000 centrifuges. It infected over 200,000 computers on its way to the target, but it ignored all of them. It only cared about that one facility. Stuxnet is the moment cyberwar stopped being theoretical. A line of code reached out of a computer and physically broke a machine in the real world. Every nation on Earth was watching, and every one of them took notes. WannaCry. May 2017, and this is where viruses started asking for money. WannaCry was ransomware. It didn't delete your files, it locked them behind unbreakable encryption and demanded $300 in Bitcoin to give them back. And it spread using a leaked hacking tool called Eternal Blue, originally developed by the US National Security Agency, that then got stolen and dumped online. So, a government's own cyberweapon got turned loose on the world. In days, it hit over 200,000 computers across 150 countries. Britain's National Health Service got crushed, hospitals turned away patients, surgeries were cancelled, ambulances rerouted. Total damage, somewhere between $4 and $8 billion. It was finally stopped by a 22-year-old researcher who found a hidden kill switch web address in the code and registered it for about $10. WannaCry proved a virus could hold an entire country's hospitals hostage, and that our most dangerous weapons don't always stay in the right hands. NotPetya. Just weeks after WannaCry, the most destructive virus in history showed up wearing a disguise. NotPetya looked like ransomware. It flashed a ransom note, asked for Bitcoin, the whole act, but it was a lie. Even if you paid, your files were gone forever, because getting your money back was never the point. Destruction was. It was a cyberweapon aimed at Ukraine that immediately slipped its leash and went global. It tore through the shipping giant Maersk, pharma company Merck, and FedEx, costing each of them around $300 million and racking up more than $10 billion in total damage. Maersk had to reinstall its entire global network, 4,000 servers, 45,000 computers from scratch in 10 days. NotPetya is the endgame of everything on this list. It combined Morris's spread, Mydoom's scale, and Stuxnet's intent, a virus built purely to burn things down. So, that's the story of how a few lines of code went from a curious student's experiment to a weapon that can shut down hospitals and sabotage nuclear plants. Which one shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments, I read them. Now here's the thing, every virus we just covered has a type, a worm, a Trojan, ransomware, a rootkit, and most people use those words like they mean the same thing. They absolutely do not. One of them can spread with zero help from you. One of them is hiding on your machine right now, and you'd never know. That's exactly what we're breaking down next. Every type of malware. Explained simply, what each one does, and which one is the most dangerous.